Welcome to the post-game analysis of Game 1 between SANDBOX Gaming and KT Rolster. SANDBOX was able to take Game 1. Let's look at the draft. SANDBOX took Camille and Twisted Fate and played the side lane game really well.
사이드 운영을 하겠다라는 마인드를 보여줬는데
So taking TF and Camille already indicates that they're going to use 1-3-1 play.
하지만 오리아나는
However, KT tried to answer it back with Jax. However, Trundle wasn't able to help out Jax too much. Once again, SANDBOX gave a lot of strength towards the side lanes using TF and Camille. There are a lot of crowd controls as well, such as TF's gold card, Oliver's Q, and Camille's stun as well. And Jax was completely negated in team fights. In the second dragon fight, SANDBOX was able to gain a significant amount of lead, and then from there on, they never looked back. As you can see, the vision was completely negated from KT's side, and therefore Route pushed away first, so he was able to directly access the Dragon Pit, whereas Aiming had to circumvent in his jungle to reach the Dragon Pit. During its process, SANDBOX was able to focus fire down the champions of KT well. And as you can see, Jax TP's in, and this is a very regrettable moment for KT. Jax goes for a TF, but TF immediately uses Zonya and then flashes out. And Jax tried to chase TF. Instead of chasing TF, if Jax fought together with Orianna against the other champs, then the result might have been different.
잡히는 장면이 나왔고 굉장히 저 장면에서는 KT가
in that
패를 밀어넣으면서 아래쪽 강가 시야까지 잡았고 오리아나 트런들 이지리얼
they were able to gain vision by pushing out Ezreal and Orianna.
그 외에는 뭐 탑솔러들이
And once again, the effective focus firing from SANDBOX was able to bring the victory at that Dragon Pit.
자, 그리고 KT의 마지막 희망은 드래곤 영혼이었습니다.
KT's last-ditch effort had to be related with the Infernal Soul. However, they got completely dismantled in that team fight once again. And they lost the game there. Well, it's understandable why KT made such plays. As you can see, Orianna changed to TP using the Unsealed Spellbook and tried to stop TF using Orianna's TP here. And concurrently, Ezreal arcane shifts forward to inflict damage, and that was actually a bad decision. And Orianna's TP was too premature, and because of that premature timing, SANDBOX other champions were able to join the fray, and they were able to finish off KT's champions. And here once again, the battle of getting rid of the tank champions, Aphelios was able to be ahead of Ezreal in that regard, and therefore SANDBOX was able to clean up the champions of KT. And in the end, due to stellar macro play, SANDBOX was able to take Game 1. Alright, let's check who's the player of the game for Game 1.
탑미드 원딜 다 받을만 했다고 생각하고
I think top mid and ADC all deserve to receive this POG. And it was Summit on his Camille.
깔끔하게 잘했죠. 자기 역할 다.
Camille was able to play his role very well.
탑에서 이제 하면서 좋았고 여기서 이제 포커싱이 참 중요한 게 탑으로 왔지만 카밀은 팀원을
targeting is very important. Because Jax was chasing for the kill, whereas Camille tried to help out his allies. And Camille is very specialized in 2v2 or 3v3 situations, along with Oliver jungle. And Summit was very comfortable throughout the entire game with his Camille pick. I think as long as he stays away from Aatrox, he should be fine. This is his first POG for this split. He received 50% of the votes. Can Yamato Magic continue in Game 2? Or can KT come back in Game 2? Let's check it out in Game 2. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Brian, as always, for the great translation there. Good to hear what they had to say, and about Summit picking up the player of the game, so LS does get another vote correct. And I suppose...
I was the swinger.
Not... Well, if you voted for mid, maybe? There were 2 votes for bot, 4 for mid, and then 6 for...
Yeah, so I could have voted mid.
If you voted mid.
Mid would have been my second vote, actually.
Yeah. I think those votes for bottom were actually for Aphelios, the champion. That's a common misconception.
Yeah.
To vote for the player that's playing Aphelios, but actually they wanted to vote for Aphelios. But yeah, this is a big first win for SANDBOX to be able to come ahead of KT, the team that just beat Dragon or DRX rather, as they are now known, and to come ahead in that fashion. It does feel like KT are still the better team, but they didn't play like it much in game number 1.
Yeah, the Jax was very, very, very underwhelming for such a integral part to the draft, and then obviously, remember the date, okay?
Yeah. December 19th.
December 11th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
1819?
1819. Remember the date, Valdez.
God, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine Aphelios being good into champions that run at him. Am I right?
True.
AKA Trundle and Jax. But we are here in a new game, a new draft. New opportunities are offered to both teams.
Yeah.
To make it better this time.
And
Olaf and TK. And you can see on the other side that a common bottom lane taken away, as well as Karma is going to be taken off the board.
And Varus is going to be picked up first. We'll see what SANDBOX are going to respond with.
You mean Varus?
I like how you're thinking.
I'm
actually.
learning.
Yeah.
You were telling me during the break how Atrox is actually Atrox.
Yeah. Yes.
Shaco is Shaco.
Well,
it's very interesting stuff.
Yeah, from linguists. As SANDBOX now are gonna pick up Senna. And now this is so peculiar because if anyone remembers, the reason that Varus started getting picked, coincidentally, was because of Senna. And then people were like, wait a minute, it actually just beats everything. So then he started getting banned all the time. But he came in specifically for Senna.
Ooh, Rumble. That was a quick kind of pick that we haven't seen in a while. Picked pretty early on in this draft. And it definitely eats Braum Senna for breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, you're we're heating up the rift today. No freezing. We're pushing the lanes as fast as possible. We're chunking down the Unbreakable. We are equalizing the Immobile AD carries. And they're going to pair it with Jarvan at the same time. So pretty aggressive kind of engage. High damage so far.
And we'll see what else ends up happening inside of this draft as SANDBOX, they're picking a lot of champions that run into Jarvan, Rumble, and Varus.
This is a trapdoll. Like,
yeah.
This is the definition.
No, I saw a Reddit thread in between the games that apparently Trundle is bugged right now. And he gets excessive healing with Spirit Visage, with some item. I don't totally remember, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Short memory, you know?
Little short memory.
Yeah, not a little short.
Yeah, there we go.
Really good.
Made it happen. But, I mean, not every Trundle here in the LCK is building Spirit Visage. I mean, they're valuing this champion just so highly in the LCK. Camille, I can understand why you don't want to play against that after last game.
And Wukong, more and more champions that are just running in. And we've seen, especially in spring, when Rumble was getting very popular, defensive equalizers are a nightmare to try to fight against. If you ever have to put Rumble on the back foot, Or, I mean, if he has the option to go on the back foot. So, we'll see what ends up happening. Swain.
Hell yeah, let's
being
do it.
Hovered.
UCal special. Oh, what?
Gnar is being hovered right now.
Gnar got a little buff on
No.
this patch, right?
Yeah, Gnar is Trapakizer.
Border Trapper. Okay, Jace.
Well, it's gonna end up being Jace. Jace is a little bit interesting because you don't need the poke, you don't need to attempt to lane Kingdom. And so it's a little surprising. We also still don't know where that Rumble is going just yet. It could be Rumble support.
Yeah.
And it looks like it is going to be Rumble
it's
support.
Smeb too, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I was like, yeah, I think that's absolutely going there. And Sohan is a big Jace player at the same time. He loves Ken and Jace. They've been banning Kennen against him for every game since, I don't know, it's been like 3 or 4 games now. So he has to dig deeper into his pool. LeBlanc here. That's the way you say it, right?
I actually don't know. It's French.
Yeah.
Is that how you
think
say
so.
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to do the pronunciation.
I really feel like I
time.
should learn it just to stay consistent.
Yeah, you
And
know.
then never say LeBlanc ever again.
It's, yeah, we are probably butchering it for the French audience,
Yeah.
perhaps. So we should do right by them. Next time, next week, when you come in, just make sure you're ready.
Well,
for the LeBlanc. And that's an interesting pick. We see that into Azir a lot. It's very mobile. It can get away from the Emperor's Vides, obviously. Fairly easy. It can poke back. It can run around the soldiers. So in terms of just the matchup into Azir, we do see it pretty often.
yeah. It does put SANDBOX on a little bit more of a clock, as there's a lot of champions here that can handle LeBlanc, but we shall... Who is it?
I think it's Bono. I was looking back and I saw UCal with a giant
Really?
grin on his face, and he gave Bono like the peace sign. So I think it was
So, yeah.
I think it's Bono.
For people here that are not at Lol Park and the audio is not picking it up, someone is having a feral scream,
Yeah.
as if they're being murdered behind us, and it is extremely loud.
Yeah, it's not quite a Sode One Prince scream. It's not like an Exu scream. That's next level.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably the first time I've heard that noise in my life when they scream. But it's up there. It's definitely as you described it. And this is kind of what you were talking about, you know, the difference in the support champions that are going to come out because you have a top laner that's playing it. We saw so much Maokai, and then finally he's like, you know what? I'm feeling angry after that first loss. Let's do some damage. And he's going to go back to an old-time favorite of Smeb's.
And KT, it'll be interesting to see how they fare here against SANDBOX, who are really all in their team comp. Very, very, very red. And you notice very quickly that the Senna is a little bit out of place with the fighting that they're going to be trying to do. Now, she's going Glacial. She'll probably go Lethality, and that'll complement if Wukong does end up building the Black Cleaver, because Wukong can apply it a lot to a lot of champions, and then if Senna is pure on Lethality, then she'll get a lot of value. Smeb is 36 in 19, 65% win rate, 3.8 KDA.
Yeah,
Keep
that
in
is
mind, Valdez.
55 games.
Wow.
Of Rumble. Yeah, I did that in my head. I didn't even have to write that down.
Valdez, what's this?
Are you proud of me?
What?
No, there's nothing. No. Don't
Turn
look
off
at
your
the
phone.
And, of course, Smeb is, you know, he's been around for a long time. He knows how to play his Rumble. He loves his Rumble. And we have seen support Rumble even before Smeb came back to the LCK. I think we were seeing it in spring and maybe even the end of last year. But I think he eventually realized, he's like, oh, I can actually just play this here.
Yeah.
The amount of poke that this duo has, you lock someone up, they're just going to be burning like crazy. It's not going to be easy to stop.
And this is certainly going to be interesting for KT. As, all right, well,
Wow, GG.
yeah, a little bit of damage coming out there, not a big deal. But double Scorch here on the side of KT, really just trying to go for Lane Kingdom. And you can just see Gorilla having a pretty hard time playing as Fate going for a combo, does manage to proc the Electrocute. This is another one of those games where a cheater could have been accomplished, and instead they're not really going to opt for it. And so aiming already very low on mana. He does have the 3 corrupting potions, but obviously Root and Gorilla, they're doing a pretty good job at just sustaining all together. And now the wave is actually being manipulated. It's coming back into them. Aiming's actually just going to kill the... Okay, they're going to...
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about lane manipulation right now.
Yeah, I don't know why. The only manipulation we need here in this league.
Oh.
Nice little trade. Yukal's really using that shield to good work. Every time LeBlanc hops in, he hops in too, and he's like, well, you want to go? And yeah, the only lane manipulation we need is pushing. That's the one strategy of this league. On Fleet, gonna make this lane a little bit more annoying for So On. Can't just push without any consequences up there.
Yeah, and you can see that So On, he's feeling a little bit afraid because he doesn't have enough intel. If Trundle were just here right now, then he could definitely be blowing his flash. He does have phase rush, so that does help out a little bit. And you can really see the pain that's being inflicted down here by Aiming and Smeb. Doing a very good job. Proc the Guardian. And they're going to pick up the cannon once more. Fate coming in. Gets the Electrocute proc and manages to... Yukal completely donks away an entire cannon and a couple of minions. So, very unfortunate spot where he's just perma-trading. Even though that's not the objective of the lane. Now, Fate did TP back in. So, when Yukal ends up coming back, he's going to have a little bit more fighting power. He has Doran's Ring, and he has the Amp Tome, but obviously the Dark Seal does grant a little bit more sustain cookies in his inventory.
Yeah, interesting that he didn't try to pick that up. Dark Seal has a lot of value once you start getting a couple of stacks, and even the potential to switch it into the Magias later on in the game. But you know, we're not quite on that level here just yet. And we have Gorilla all the way up here trying to protect a control ward in the Pixel Brush. So really trying to do his job as a support and make sure he holds down the vision for his team.
And everything's just ping pong right now. We are in a current episode of Forbidden Love.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
It's back.
It is definitely back. I saw they stole you for Pog's Day one time.
Yeah, you were having a LS, a landlord issue.
Yeah, landlord situation.
Yeah.
Not
And I suppose that situation was handled.
we did.
Yeah, that's good.
I was dying. There was no air conditioning.
How long was that going on? I feel like you told that to me like 2 months ago where you had no air conditioning.
Oh, we were anticipating the summer.
Oh, okay, so you were
knew.
waiting.
Yeah. It broke in August of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fortunately the weather cleared up. We never had to fix it, but... Anyways. Speaking about things that are fixing, KT, they pick up a very early Ocean. And that is very scary for SANDBOX, who... Realistically, their team composition peaks around 2 items for almost all of their champions. And they're going to definitely be staring down the barrel of a soul point this game. And if you're SANDBOX, what you really hope for is that after that mountain comes a cloud and not a infernal.
This bottom lane is like... They are not...
I mean, they picked
well.
Senna Braum and Tavares. You deserve to have this happen.
That's true. And then the Senna, as you mentioned, doesn't even really fit in with the comp. So it's like, you're picking it so early into a counter matchup. with a composition that, you know, doesn't necessarily go super well with it.
It's very off-theme. The champions in the team composition are trying to achieve different things relative to who their opponent's champions are. So that's ultimately all that it's about. And a lot of pressure of this game is going to be on LeBlanc to try to do things with her smoke and mirror gameplay in the mid into late transition, because Wukong, this time around, Soan has Summit's number so far, keeping him underneath the turret. Now, remember, it is Wukong, so if he gets on you, he can potentially almost delete your entire HP bar. Soan doing a really good job at just keeping him underneath the turret. Not a whole lot happening. Obviously, Azir with the defensive itemization coming out of him. And Rumble's even going to be very scary against the enemy team in the later stages, even though he is on support. It's going to be very hard to fight against an equalizer, because it's going to act as if Smeb is actually going to become Moses, and he's going to part the Red Sea with the equalizer.
Yeah.
Where SANDBOX are going to get separated from one another trying to fight against the equalizer if Wukong, Trundle, etc. ever try to go into KT.
Yeah, Rumble, you know, he likes stuff that can burn you down, like a Leandries or some pen or something like that. Yukal is really just trying to make this clear that this is their objective. They are going to get it. Here comes Senna with the burst damage from downtown, but Bono able to follow up.
Whoa!
That is a huge knock-up from the Monkey King as Summit gets in there, and he's trying to get this last kill on a Smeb. It doesn't look like, okay, he's diving. He will be able to get it.
Dead. Oh!
And
yeah,
there's the last hit. But he is at least able to pick up that kill.
Yeah.
For
so,
his team.
At the end of it, it still is a nice victory for SANDBOX. KT, I don't know what Soan's doing. He's behind enemy lines right now. Going to come over here. He's going to auto-attack him. OnFleet going to come over here. Missed ultimate. Not a big deal.
Yeah, he flashed.
Flashed away.
Yeah. A very five-head maneuver there.
It is, actually.
Yeah. I would recommend you do not save flash.
Okay.
Yeah, use it when you need to.
And so Yukal right there with one of the most peculiar ultimates, just trying to really become Faker from the LCK opening intro, summoning the Sand Soldiers. And so Summit capitalizing 3-man. Cyclone and Smeb really wanted Smeb. And this actually surprises me that he was willing to make this decision, because allocating gold over to Rumble is not something that you want to do, even though you're going to accelerate yourself. Now, here's something interesting. He hasn't popped Refillable or Biscuits this whole time, and I wonder... Ooh, I really wonder if the Biscuit and the Potion all went through.
From the beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Jarvan was there. Jarvan would get it.
Okay.
But still,
yeah.
Jarvan would get the gold rather than Rumble, which is still better.
That is true. Always pop your pots, guys, on time. You want to make sure you get as much value out of that during the extended fight. I mean, he entered the fight without full health, so it should have definitely been taken there. Bono's going to miss the knock-up, and now he's in a really awkward spot. Yeah, well, up in the top lane at the same time, Summit is not taking a great trade. He is going to get solo killed by Soan. And that is not what you want to have happen. That is a flash in the way, and that just means that he'll be pushed away.
Yeah.
By Yukal.
And that is, like you just said, it's not what you want to have happen. Now, Summit does have teleport, so he is going to be able to get back to the wave, but the problem is that Soan has teleport now. So, he's going to end up getting that turret plate. I think he has Black Cleaver online. And the reason that Jace is going to go Black Cleaver here is because he's going to land the Shock Blast, Vara shoots the arrow, increased penetration very slightly. But also, against the Wukong, trying to stifle him inside a laning phase, getting as much power as you can super early on. Because the laning phase, it is a bit of a knife fight, but KT, they're going to pick themselves up the mountain.
Yeah, they'll be able to get that essentially for free.
Yeah.
Trundle's doing Raptors right now.
7 armor over to Jarvan. I think 7 armor, and is that 2 MR? Still pretty okay.
I guess so. It's better than nothing.
Yeah, it's very good. I mean, Wukong never gets pen. Neither, well, and obviously Senna gets lethality items, but Any little bit of armor is really going to help.
I mean, he saw Fate was in the mid lane.
Yeah,
right?
we don't talk about it. I don't know what he was trying to set up. Here comes teleport.
Okay, well, that's a double teleport. And Fate's like, well, you're on your own, buddy. And so is Root. They're like, yeah, never mind. Actually, we're gonna, we're just gonna leave you there. And now KT, they pick up the kill. They're gonna try to roll this into plates. It's gonna be good timing because there's not much defense. They should easily be able to take this first turret.
Yeah. And KT amassed themselves a 2,500 gold Smeb down here by himself. He's getting to work on that turret.
Yeah, he's a top laner,
Karate chopping it.
Just trying to get some gold.
Yeah.
That aiming has so rudely
Look at
taken
Rumble
from him.
in the cockpit.
Yeah, he's cool.
Says yeah. Potion does get popped.
Nice.
I got him. Nice.
Nice.
And then he went to laugh.
Yeah, and they said nice.
Yeah. And then here, on LCK Summit, really trying to force the issue and try to kill Soan here. Everyone coming in with the teleports really does hurt them. Bono being here summons the Rift Herald, and that was the follow-up sequences. We jump back into live, still a 2,500 gold lead. Varus is eons ahead of Senna.
He's like in a totally different game.
Yeah.
It's like he's like playing game 3 right now. But he might be punished here, never mind.
Oh,
Varus.
man.
That's going to be unbreakable. On Flake is now in a really awkward spot, has to flash. He's got Nimbus Cloak. He's really fast with Phase Rush, too. So he's just out of there like lightning.
And Root is trying to just heal up. Honey fruit, though. Delicious. I wonder what it tastes like. Probably like Gushers. You ever have Gusher?
No, well, yes. That was a very awesome snack.
Yeah.
Me when I was a kid. Used to have it all the time. Very sugary and nice. But I don't know. I think it would taste like melon. That's
melon
my
Gusher.
guess. No, not melon Gusher.
Okay, melon Gusher. Perfect.
Like like a melon. The green melon.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I know you don't eat fruits. Only Gushers.
Well, looks like aiming and Smeb are going to get the bottom tier 1 turret here. And they're just propelling themselves to a very nice advantage. Equalizer!
Okay. He had to heal. In goes the flash. Good response by Root. Root's the same level as Smeb.
Yeah.
And
Varus is 2 levels ahead of Gorilla. So the bot lane is a nightmare. And remember, this was B1 Varus, R1, R2 Senna, Braum. It doesn't quite get as much as saying smack me as that goes. And so the bot lane was set up for a disaster to basically unfold because you give KT pick of the litter for what they want to punish the Senna Braum with. And when you have a Trundle that relies on the laners being strong and proficient themselves in order to set up for them, you're going to have a little bit of an awkward time. And so Jarvan, in this game, can actually function very well on low economy because his laners, Jace, Azir, and Varus, with the Rumble, are so strong on their own. Jarvan doesn't need econ this game, whereas Trundle, he also has to play low econ, but for different reasons. It's because his laners need to get ahead. The onus is on them to somehow find a way, and obviously LeBlanc can't really offset the pressure of Azir, the wave clear. So Root and Gorilla just falling very, very far behind, and Root's going for a very expensive and heavy build on Senna. So it's even more problematic that this is happening, and so this is going to be the 3rd dragon. We mentioned this very early on in the game, first 5 minutes, or actually no, as soon as the first dragon was taken, at 6, that SANDBOX would be staring at Soul Point as the final fight.
it all comes together. Thank you for, give me the script back. Thank you. And it does feel a little bit like SANDBOX are a bit hopeless. They were able to pick up Shirley here, but he's trying to lay it down top against Jace, which isn't really working. Summit is a bit behind in that lane. That is going to be the Azir turret actually going down, and there's the Cloud Drake for free. Going over to the side of KT. Jarvan doesn't need anyone else to even have him take that down. And I think we might just enter a little bit of a lull state.
Yeah, a little one.
To,
All the turrets are very healthy.
Pretty much full health.
Yeah. And sadly, Wukong went for a Trinity Force, which isn't a bad item on him, but...
They're trying to get aiming here, and
they got him
stunned and dead. But, okay, they might be able to roll this into mid-tier 1. Looks like they should be able to, as Equalizer will come down. A bit annoying, but they should still be able to get this turret. As they're going to stick around, they pick that one up and get some of that gold that was lying on the map. So they were about 4,000 behind, now they're only about 2.5. So nice little win going over to the side of SANDBOX. There wasn't any other big objective that they could have tried to go for. No Baron, no Dragon. So they decided the mid-tier 1 is good enough.
And now, as it stands, it's about a 2,500 lead still for KT. Let's take a look at this aiming. For some reason, compelled by a cosmic force to be in the very middle of the lane, and SANDBOX says, thank you very much, let us pin you here. And they end up picking up that kill and the assists. They get themselves the turret as well. So a very nice little victory for them. And like what we said super early, Cloud Soul is the one of the game. That is the best possible role for SANDBOX because it means that they still have a chance in the team fights. Because there's no real ultimates on KT that are not situational ultimates. And when you have situational ultimates, it means dances are going to occur. And more often than not, the extra CDR isn't super impactful in the later stages of the game. At least not on these champs.
Yeah, Gorilla's just gonna stopwatch here. They're gonna
try this one. Canceled it.
Are able to cancel it, but Bono's got a stopwatch of his own. He's gonna try to flash away. In goes the Wukong, and they do have enough damage, in fact, to take out Bono in the front there, as he had to use flash as well to try to get out of that one, but another kill will be going towards the side of SANDBOX.
And these are very small but very needed victories for SANDBOX, as it looks like, I mean, teleport available on Summit. They want to lose the game over 500 gold.
Gorilla is doing a great job baiting them. He gets so low, but they can't quite get onto Yukal here, who is able to do a nice amount of damage, and now aiming, very protected in the back, trying to kite it back, but here comes Summit from the bottom side. He doesn't have his ultimate, but he will be able to just burst down aiming, as the Equalizer will be annoying, but not annoying enough. And now Smeb over the wall. Thankfully, he's got a Blast Clone here. And Fate is actually going to continue going in here, and he might actually get burst down. No, he is going to be able to pop back.
They should kill that. It's 25 gold. Ay. Faker would have killed it.
Yeah, he would have. Instead, Bono decided, I'd rather take the Crux. It's more my taste. But yeah, it's a nice little team fight one there by SANDBOX. Slowly but surely, they're clawing their way back into this game. I mean, all of a sudden, we have Fate, who's 3-0-2.
This is the thing, though. It's 500 gold, and it's being spread across 5 members. It's not worth it to end up getting it. It's like, yeah, this is exactly what we need to win right now. And Summit's like, yeah, you're right. For us, SANDBOX capitalize on the moment. And then almost, I mean, Summit has TP in this, and I'm almost positive he's probably just in disbelief at what's happening right now, as Gorilla does end up going down, but it's such a disjointed and completely absent-minded fight by KT, and SANDBOX can't help but smile and be like, yes, this is exactly what we need if we're going to have a chance inside of this game. And very big pickups all around.
Yeah, I mean, just like that, you know, it's only kills, but it's giving so much to the side of SANDBOX. The gold, they're going for it again. Bono in trouble. That's a really nice Equalizer, but he has 0 health. That is a support Rumble. He doesn't have a lot of health and a lot of levels down there, so he's just going to pop like a balloon, as this GLP pickup on Fate is actually doing some good work. He's 4-0-2. He is very difficult to kill. It's so hard to kill that LeBlanc right now with the item selection he went for. 10 stacks on his Dark Seal. And SANDBOX say, well, now the Cloud Drake is ours.
Yeah. And they're going to pick up the first dragon of the game for themselves. And this will be interesting if they can get all the way to 4. That would be quite nice.
That would be pretty insane.
And let's take a look at this again. And Jace is top lane.
Why are they going to the enemy jungle?
I have no idea, Valdez, but SANDBOX are very happy.
Yeah, they're just whacking it up.
The thing is if you're KT and you ask yourselves, well, what does SANDBOX want right now? Not what do they need, what do they want? And KT are like, oh, yes, let's give it to them. Over and over. And SANDBOX always ready to pounce on it and capture, and they're doing so, and they've managed to recover this game to now less than a 1,000 gold advantage. Obviously, Mountain Dragon's there. It's adding a little bit of extra stats. And Azir, UCal seems to have Morello. Oh, well, I guess there's Senna and Trundle, and Wukong is going for Death Stance, but he's going to complete it. Mage Eyes on LeBlanc, really, really good.
Yeah.
Miramon now completed as well for Root. This is going to be very, very close fight where KT now, they need to stall the game out for about another 10 minutes.
Oh, again! Again! But this time Bono, he's at least going to get the Cataclysm just to add on to the sadness that is the Jarvan in this game. To no benefit in the team fight, just dies. And the Equalizers, I mean, they're just kind of being thrown out with 0 follow-up. One of their members dies immediately. And these team fights are so broken for KT that SANDBOX every single time, they just look so much more coordinated.
Yeah.
And they're getting the picks that they need. And KT's kind of just standing out in the lane, giving it to them.
And LeBlanc got some ability power off that pick as well. So very nice. They're going to get the turret, and with that, they're going to get the gold lead back for them.
You know what this is? I think it's Yamato's. His massive brain power is creating a wave of gravity against KT that is actually
a black hole, a vortex,
pulling them over to the side of the map where SANDBOX is on because of his massive brain. I think that's the reason. That's really the only explanation.
Hooked up to a generator.
Yeah. We have the power here. He is the Yamato cannon. It's now fully operational. SANDBOX are just somehow willing KT to get into these weird spots. I mean, you don't gotta be there.
I'm in a loss for words on what Bono has been doing so many times inside of this game. And so, gold score, very even. SANDBOX with about a 300, 400 gold advantage at this point. This is going to be the strongest that they ever are in relation to KT. So, let's see what ends up happening. I mean, the Azir has just been very underwhelming as well out of UCal.
Yeah. The Azir, the Jarvan. I mean, Jason Varus are doing a decent job of poking. I mean, they're not getting much value because there's no follow-up after it. And SANDBOX are putting themselves in positions to get the picks and get out. Or to, you know, not just idle around the lane like sometimes teams do against poke comps. SANDBOX isn't doing that, so they're playing pretty well to try to claw their way back into this game, and KT are allowing them to.
Well, at this point, okay, Soan trying to come down. Summit manages to dodge that. Does a lot of damage. Actually bites back a little bit better than Soan does. And Soan's also down a level. Root went from being down 2 levels to now even with aiming. Gorilla, likewise, down 2 levels, even or ahead of Smeb now. The levels are definitely a problem as well. SANDBOX picked themselves up the Scuttle Crab. They're going to have that available for them now. At this fight, this is completely even gold, and this fight will absolutely, surely, positively, probably decide the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of percentage towards deciding the game. I don't think I've ever heard that much.
Yeah.
That is a really cool pillar. And here's the TP. Oh, they're trying to turn off the Summit here. That's a fantastic Chains of Corruption. With the Equalizer follow-up, KT are fighting back against this one very well. They're able to kite back. The Summit just going to go for the second spin. Shock Blast will go wide. Fate is really the carry here. He's going to get the chain shot to Aiming, who is so low, and he immediately goes down. And see you later to that Varus that got so fat. The Emperor's Divide to 0 in the fight. And that is just a wombo combo mess in the middle. That is a total ace. And they're going to try to end. I don't know. They're kind of not sure what to go for here. They're going to go for the 2 objectives.
Indecisive for what they want to do. And you just see Azir in these team fights. He's doing nothing. He has 100% hit rate, though, on the Emperor's Divide versus Oxygen.
True.
And so that is one thing that UCal has going for him. SANDBOX now, they pick themselves up the second cloud. They get a 3,000 gold lead. They're going to get Baron as well.
It's crazy how SANDBOX have been able to claw their way back into this one. 22 stacks now on the Magi's for this LeBlanc, and the second you saw the LeBlanc get on top of Varus, you knew it was over.
So it actually, I mean, Aiming played this pretty well. He shoots the Chains of Corruption, Gorilla goes for the flash ult, and then, pay attention here, he shoots an arrow, he walks back up, but there's a ward on top of him, so eventually Fate manages to get around onto Varus. Now, if he went a different angle, I'm not sure if the second tether actually connects, but he dies anyway. And then Azir is doing literally nothing. Actually, just...
Yeah. If I was new to LoL and I saw this game... the amount of power, the gravitational black hole that is created by the absolute mass that is his gigantic brain is allowing SANDBOX to win this one. But yeah, if I was new and I saw Azir, I'd be like, I never want to play this champion. What does this do? It doesn't even do any damage. Like, why is it here? Like, it's cool, it looks like a bird? Okay.
He is a bird.
Yeah.
Well, no, is he a bird?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd like to see what's under the helmet.
Pretty sure he is.
Ooh, that would be a cool skin. Azir without helmet?
Unmasked.
Yeah.
Azir. I thought that was just his head.
I don't know. They could make him a giant bird. Like,
I mean,
all these...
Faker has the mask of Azir, but I think that's just for the for the opener. I don't know. I thought it was actually just a bird.
All right. Well, maybe when T1 wins Worlds, they get a skin. The helmet like retracts and it's Faker.
That would be pretty cool, actually.
Just like the LCK
I don't mind
cinematic.
it.
Here we go.
Well, they're finally able to piece together a combo that their ultimate. That's a great ultimate from DeBrom to just deny any kind of follow-up from the side of KT. And it's also too little too late. I mean, in goes Summit. There's the double knockup. Aiming doesn't exist in this game anymore. As, okay, they're going to get the Wukong.
Oh.
Trying to chase him down. Smeb actually does a nice amount of damage. And
it ends up being 2 for 2, actually.
Yeah. They're lacking a little bit of range. Fate was low on mana at the same time, even though he has 25 stacks of Magi's. That is pretty gross. Still able to at least get a couple of kills, as we'll take another look, I suppose, at what you would expect from this comp about 20 minutes ago.
Well, I mean, this is the combo that they should be going for, is Cataclysm Equalizer. And then it basically lines up perfectly for Varus and Azir to try to do damage. I mean, you can also do it defensively, but they've been so disjointed this whole time. Now, they managed to stave off SANDBOX for the time being. That's going to be the end of the Baron power play. And so at the end of it, SANDBOX are ahead about 5.5k. Azir finally picks up a Void Staff, and so he will be able to chew through the magic resist on the enemy team. Executioner's also picked up on Varus. And really, I don't know what is going to end up happening inside of this game because KT have been so disjointed. Lord Dominic's Regard picked up by Soan. See what his next item is going to end up actually being 25 stacks Magi. on
Yes.
LeBlanc.
And he just finished
And he has
his
a
death cap. I think anyone is fair game on the side of KT right now. If he sees anyone. Although that's not necessarily the way to do it. At least he gets the ultimate out of Varus. But he had to burn his flash to get out of there. He wants to make sure he doesn't die and lose 10 stacks. So he's going to play a little bit safer than normal.
And, well, looks like SANDBOX are posturing. They're being very safe and reserved right now. And so KT down 6.5. They're going to end up being forced to give over. I want to see LeBlanc. I believe LeBlanc's ultimate is like 12.6.
You can see it counting down. Yeah, it's like 12.
I think it's 12.6. If memory serves me correct. Let's see. Will he use it?
Nope.
No? Unfortunate. It's because of you, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching you closely.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I mean, I forgive you.
Thanks.
Atlas wouldn't forgive you. I forgive you.
And, I mean, we're only 5 minutes away from another Cloud Drake, the Cloud Soul, going to SANDBOX. They're just going to have pretty insane amount of reduction.
Oh, someone's going to be careful. I don't... Okay, so he pops the Banshee's Veil, but obviously things do get a little bit dicey. Now, both of them can actually one-shot each other. That is something that you have to consider. SANDBOX, though, they're just posturing around. And their gold advantage is helping them right now with their recipe items. LeBlanc now is going to be stuck. This is going to be the end of LeBlanc's power. He does have the stopwatch finally.
Oh, we're going in.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I saw a pillar come down. But, just trying to poke a little bit. You know, LeBlanc can become very pokey, especially once she becomes this insanely fed. As Banshee's Veil is pretty good against the Emperor's Divide, but he's not going to overstay his welcome with the immediate rotation from KT. And with Baron available, they're just going to try to run over there. But UCal does have TP. We got 3 TPs here on the side of KT.
Bono's down 2 levels, 1 in mid, 1 in 80 carry. And top laners are even. Oh, man.
Oh!
Ooh.
Spotted Summit.
Yeah, found Summit. Fate looking for a multi-man distortion.
Oh, that's a great pillar. Soan has to flash over it.
Ooh, this is very scary. You can see the Phalanx being held by KT.
Okay.
All right, they got the ward.
Jeez.
But trying to fight against Rumble in this narrow corridor. Rumble looks like he's trying to make it to Void Staff, actually. He might be very close. And, wow, that is a harpoon.
Yeah.
So, okay, Baron is started up. This is honestly very scary. Fate. Oh, gonna get on.
They're gonna try to get on top of Soan here.
Yeah,
they should have the damage. There it is. Summit gets in, and Soan was all alone, trying to take a different angle and get some shock blasts in. But that's just gonna mean, I mean, they have so much pick potential with super fed LeBlanc and Wukong hanging around. You can't just try to face check. But there wasn't too much that Soan could hope for with all the vision denial. And that is just going to be the Baron going their way. SANDBOX will get a second one here. Very careful about the way they're going to try to take this game down. They're not rushing anything.
And it looks like Azir is trying to get to the Rabadon's Death Cap as his next item. Jace has been stuck on Warhammer for a long time. I'm not sure if he has any inventory. I'm very surprised why they're not allocating gold towards Smab, given that he must be so close, I assume, to Void? Or even Morello, I guess. They could probably pick that up, multi-man equalizer, and I guess get some value out of it there. But 1 minute until Cloud Soul. And you can see Azir shoving out bot wave.
Okay, Fade.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage.
It's one distortion. It was a Mimic distortion, but like, he's really chunking him out. LeBlanc is turning into a poke jam.
Azir's here.
Okay, they're going to get this one turret. as Fate is just trying to poke him down as well as possible. The slow and steady advance here. As, okay, we're going to get that combo once again, but Smed pretty low in the backline. Summit is doing so much to knock them all up. Zucal, a little bit too little, too late, as Summit is just going to try to zone him away, as Root and Fate will take down this Nexus, and that is a 2-0 from SANDBOX over KT, the team that just defeated DRX. And now Yamato has a 300% win rate.
Yeah.
Wow.
And SANDBOX, I mean, they come back in game number 2. I mean, KT made so many blunders, but SANDBOX were there waiting. As it was their only out, they managed to win. Fate having a very, very good LeBlanc performance. Ended up giving him player of the game. He also managed to beat Yucal in some of the lane phase manipulations that could have ended up happening. And Summit got solo killed, but still, nice recovery with the Wukong in a lot of the team fights.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the fact that SANDBOX were able to come back from that position, you can see that Hirai is understandably frustrated and angry after that second game especially. Game 1, okay, you know. Game 2, though, that is not, if you're a coach, I would be fuming. That was not a great performance from KT.
That was one of the biggest, I mean, it was the TSM. It was the classic. The group the group mid with 4 or 5k gold leads, scaling team composition over 500 gold tier 1 turret. Because that's going to decide the game, absolutely. I just don't even know what goes through everyone, like, in reviews. What is everyone looking at when you're standing at that turret and you're like, yeah, we really need this gold dispersed across these champions. This is imperative to the victory.
It's like, my guess is that as a team, they're like, we're ahead. Let's try to push our lead. Let's try to slowly advance and get objectives.
That's what it is.
But then, and then they like get totally out of position doing it. They give their lives, and it's not just once, it was twice, 3, 4, and then it's like all of a sudden now SANDBOX are in the lead, and now you can't take fights or objectives.
It just doesn't make any sense. If your life depended on that and it was a weighted coin flip, and you get told, well, you can flip it now or wait 5 minutes and have the odds go up, of course you always just wait.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it. And doesn't make any sense. That was the beginning of the real downfall. Bono obviously making a lot of very reckless mistakes, but Fate in a lot of the team fights as well on the side of SANDBOX finding a lot of very good distortions and mimics to help start up a lot of these fights. So KT really just looking lost and on very different pages, and it was after a very dominant top lane phase and a complete annihilation in bot lane.
Yeah.
Varus and Rumble were so far ahead. Coming out, they were at 3 dragons very smoothly.
Varus was like 60 CS ahead.
And 2 levels.
At 15 minutes.
It just made no sense. And remember that one time aiming charged up the arrow in mid lane.
Yeah.
Standing melee range against the minions. For no reason.
The Braum in his face. Like, that's a difficult one to stomach for KT fans, that's for sure. And you can see, you know, this is something I was talking about with LeBlanc against the Azir. You can bait out the Emperor's Divide.
Worth. There's more gold standing in the jungle than the turret.
Yeah. It's very true. It's just, it's definitely disappointing for KT. They had this one, they were going to bring it to a game 3, and then this all happened, so. We get to see it once again, and this is already around the time when SANDBOX were ahead. I mean, Fate, he had Majai's already with like 16 stacks here, so.
Fate, I mean, he comes in here, he finds the angle on aiming. You can see he was looking for, he was actually willing to leave.
Yeah.
That's what SANDBOX were thinking is like, okay, well, we're gonna back off, but he finds the chains, and Summit capitalizes really quickly, goes into the decoy to try to find another way back into the fight, deal a little bit more damage. Yucal, 100% hit rate versus Oxygen.
Fate was baiting him all game long, though.
Yeah.
Like, it looks silly, and a lot of the times it was, but I do want to give a little bit of credit to Fate as well for really getting in UCal's head. That was very obvious throughout this game.
하나 깰거 아래 거.
아래 거 천천히.
자르반 온다.
Spread
이번에 자르반
out.
온다.
Bottom one.
들어갈게. 셋에 들어갈게. 무조건 건다 얘네.
방패 빠졌고 이번에.
타워 밀면서 갖고 와. 타워 밀면서 갖고 와.
나 아질.
천천히. 타워 한 대. 세나 살리면.
아질 들어왔다 아질. 잡았고.
아직 잡았어.
예, 깨봐.
넥서스. 나 타워 칠게.
끝내.
죽이면 안 돼.
끝내 그냥.
타워. 고맙습니다.
I think at the end, it's like, or maybe it was Summit. One of them was like, "Can't we just like get a couple kills? Like, can't we just take a couple of them out?" Like, it was on fleek. Pretty funny, but a lot of it was, you know, take it slow, spread out, watch his ear, take down the turrets. So they were saying the right things up until the very end, and yeah, it was pretty much the Fate show. And he, you know, in the laning phase, it wasn't like he was dominating UCal or anything. It was like the slow, you know, one-by-one kills that he was getting that eventually he got 10 stacks of Magi's, and then it was like, okay, let's take this one step further.
He was definitely outplaying him in laning phase at some points, but eventually it does become Azir LeBlanc, and LeBlanc just couldn't move out of the lane. So when top lane is falling apart, bot lane's falling apart, you have a LeBlanc. Now, she has to show up in the game. She's the way out. We said that in the champ select because so many other things would just be so hard to fight if LeBlanc doesn't give you the thresholds and the openings that you need in order to execute some of the champions and reach the back line and threaten the Azir and Varus in so many of the fights. So, just really good performance out of Fate overall.
For sure.
And then SANDBOX, they salvaged it, they remained calm. They were always there to capitalize and punish the horrendous, abysmal mistakes out of KT. And Fate, he's going to walk away with player of the game.
Absolutely deserves it. I think that a lot of things are coming together at the same time for SANDBOX. Obviously, this game too, they were gifted some of the opportunities, but the way that Fate was able to take advantage of them and his LeBlanc mechanics, and LeBlanc has to play very smart about when you're going in, when you're distortioning in, out, who you can catch, how far can you go, you're relatively squishy, and he just did a fantastic job of just straight up playing LeBlanc in this game. He was able to get so many great angles. This is, of course, probably the most obvious one, where he's able to get that. He baits out the Emperor's Divide. UCal is definitely a bit confused in this one. They just group him up and bop him down. So, you know, I was talking about a lot of things going right for that one. This was unanimous, by the way. 12 out of 12. Nobody voted for Summits, Engages, or anything like that.
I don't know how you vote for anyone else in this game.
Fate, obviously, was the carry.
Yep.
Fate comes in, he's playing great. Yamato comes back, lifts the spirits. SANDBOX are on the up and up. 3 games in a row, they were 0-5, right? Or 1-5?
0-5.
0-5.
The KT, Cinderella.
3 in a row.
축하드립니다.
So I'm going to hand it over to Brian.
네. Congratulations. With 3 consecutive wins
5연패 위에 3연승.
after 5 initial straight losses. Our Summit, your thoughts?
기쁘기도 한데 일단 좀
glad.
다행이다라는 생각이 많이 들어요.
Or rather, I feel more relieved than being glad because we started off with 5 straight losses. We were able to brush those off and get on to a winning streak. So that feels good for sure.
그리고 자 페이트도
Fate?
말씀하셔야겠어요.
앞서 서밋 선수가 말한 것처럼
Just as Summit aforementioned,
좀 있는데
feel very relieved.
3연승을 저희가 2대0을 2번 해서
We got 3 straight wins in a clean sheet fashion. So I feel more glad than being relieved.
다행이라는 것보다 좀
in contrary to Summit.
있겠습니다. 자, 특히 오늘 KT가 DRX 잡고 기세가 올라오게 됐고요.
KT
어디로 갈지
had their momentum by taking down DRX earlier this week. There must be some difficulties in preparing this series. What were the focal points that you guys emphasized on
저희가 좀
prepping this series?
사이드 중심으로 한번 연습을 해보고
We prepped a lot
다른 방면으로도
based on silent-oriented plays,
서포터가 탑라이너
as well as some
선수하고
others.
그런 딱히 의식 안 하고 그렇게 준비했던 것 같아요.
We didn't really took too much consideration that one of their top laners will play support.
전담 서폿에 뭘 좀 보여줘야 되는 거 아닌가? 자꾸 진짜 탑에서
Right, I guess Gorilla had to show what the support specialist is all about, since KT was using one of their top laners as support. What are your thoughts on
그렇게
that?
될 수도 있고 또 옛날에 또 같은 팀이었다 보니까
They used to be on the same team.
그래서 좀 경계가 될 것
Gorilla and Smith.
같기는 합니다.
So it was going to be a vigilant one to look out for.
아 그리고 페이트 선수한테
네.
궁금한 게
Alright.
이게 마지막에
Question to
르블랑을
you,
픽할 때 야마토 캐논 감독과
When you
뭔가
pick
대화를
LeBlanc,
나누는 듯한 그런
You
장면이
had some
있었거든요.
conversation with Yamato
의사소통이
Cannon.
어떤 식으로 이루어지는지 팬분들이
How
되게
are the
궁금해하세요.
conversations
그래서
with
뭐 영어를
Yamato
하시는 건지
carried
아니면
out?
뭐 황마토
Do you
캐논이
use
그새 막
English
한글을
or
배워서 하는
did
건지
Yamato
좀
learn
궁금한데 어떤 식으로
Korean
좀
and he's
의사소통을
already
하시는
proficient in
편인가요?
Korean?
보통 이제 게임 용어 같은 건 좀 간단한 거 위주로 많이 있으니까
Well,
챔피언 이름이라거나
in-game
그런
jargons,
간단한 소통
we try to
정도는
use
그 선수와
various
감독님
simple words.
끼리 직접 할 수
So,
있고
I'm able to communicate, and also the coaches can communicate
말들은 좀
with very
고릴라 선수가 좀
small amount of
얘기해주는
proficiency
그런 느낌이
in
있는 것
English.
같아요.
However, whenever things get more explanatory and elongated, then Gorilla helps us out. Seems like Yamato talks the most with Gorilla. But how about you, Summit? How do you
영어는
communicate
굉장히
with him?
약하고요.
My English is not fluent at all.
몸으로나 약간
I use my
좀
body
스킬
language,
쓸 때 약간 그런 행동들, 약간 그런
or
거.
I use the motions
그래서
to express a certain
그렇게
skill shots or
알아듣고
skill
있는
moves.
거예요.
And that's how we convey each other.
서밋을 칭찬을 되게 많이 했거든요. 혹시 그 인터뷰 봤어요?
Yamato has complimented
네, 봤습니다.
a lot about you, Summit. What are your thoughts to his compliments?
야마토 캐논 감독이 뭐라고 하셨죠?
항상
What did he
밝고
exactly say to you?
또
Said I'm always a bright person.
18데스를 해도
근데 실제로 그렇게 데스하진 않았는데 예시가
Even though
그렇다는
그렇죠.
I
오해가
did
생길 수
18
있으니까.
deaths, although that actually didn't happen, but I'm still a bright person.
페이트 선수도 그 인터뷰 봤어요?
Do you see the interview as well, Faith?
좋게 얘기했었잖아요. 본인 얘기 뭐라고 하셨더라?
What did he say about you in particular?
이성적으로 차분하게 좀
I'm a very objective person, that I have a good understanding, and I try to grasp as much as possible on the situations of the
그런
game.
게임적으로
That's how
넘어가서
he evaluated
세트가
me.
실제로 꽤
In game two,
힘들었잖아요. 상대가 막 전방위적으로
things were very dire for you guys.
압박도 당하고.
You guys were pressured a lot, especially in the bot lane. What kind of decision makings
일단
went through
운영 조합 상대
amongst you
조합의
guys?
핵심이 저희가 미드 1차 타워를 좀 오래 지키면 좋을 거라고 생각을 해서
We believe that as long as we protect our
입을 맞춰서 하고
tier 1
있었는데
mid turret, then we should be fine.
팀이 이제 저희 미드 1차 타워를 밀러올 때 교전에서
And while KT was trying to
거기로 좀 편해졌던
push
것 같아요.
to get rid of our tier 1 mid tower, we were able to gain a lot of advantages through combat situations. So I think that was the point of turnaround.
그거 아닙니까?
알고 기는 그냥 막
리신, 정글 리신 나오듯이.
You were completely on fire with your mid LeBlanc,
본인 르블랑은
just like some of the players exhibited with jungle Lee Sin.
얘기 좀 해주세요. 기쁘다면서 일단 뭐
Said you're glad, so
어땠어요 본인 르블랑?
tell us about your performance on LeBlanc.
오늘은 그래도 스킬 몇 번 좀 아쉽게 쓴 장면이 있었던 것
There were
같긴
moments
한데
where I
전체적으로
used the skill shots
경기였던
in a
것
regrettable
같아요.
fashion, but generally it was okay. I'll give it 9 out of 10 for my own performance today, which means 10 out of 10 from the outside outsider's view. Now you go up against SP.
이제는 뭐 그 맨 하위 거 느낌 좀 다르지 않아요? 본인들의
Does it feel
위치가 어딘
different
것
now?
같아요.
Now that you
위치가 지금
got 3 straight victories?
누구의 아래쪽인 아니 뭐뭔것 같아요. 이제 서밋.
What do you think your potential status is, or the current status rather?
높지 않다고 생각하고
I don't think it's that high, obviously.
지금처럼 준비해서 연습을 했으니까
As long as we prep well, just like we have done thus far, and then we'll get good results out of it.
위쪽 4강 쪽이 가까워요. 서련이나 하나 쪽이 가까워요.
Think you guys are closer to the big 4 or closer to the lower tier? The lower tier, obviously.
페이트도 진짜 서련 잡으면서 4연승, 5연승 달려나가야 되지 않겠습니까?
Alright, Fate, would you guys have to get on to an even hotter winning streak, getting 4 or 5 straight wins?
좀 방심하지 않고 다음 경기도
We're not gonna let our guards down. We'll try to get our fourth straight W.
많은 분들께 고맙다는 말씀 한 말씀 끝으로 부탁드릴게요.
Alright, any last words?
네, 저희가 지금 연승을 달리고 있는데
We're on a winning streak right now.
준비해서
We'll prep even harder, and we'll try to maintain our momentum.
축하드리고요. 그리고 서래원전도 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Alright, congratulations once again. Back to the casters.
Thank you, Brian, as always, for the wonderful translation there of the interview with Summit and Fate. And great to hear from those two members. I like that they talk a lot about their interactions with Yamato, but also that they're like, yeah, we're on a winning streak, but we're not gonna, we're not gonna hold our heads high just yet. We're closer to the bottom than we are to the top. We still have a long way to go. We're happy with the way things are going. And speaking of which, after that win, they have the head-to-head against KT. So even though they're technically tied, they are one small step ahead of KT.
Yeah, and I mean, the left side of the bracket all just look a tier above everyone on the right side. And so this is still going to be a very interesting round 2 to see who can remain consistent. Tomorrow night, though, we have the match of basically all of round 1.
Yeah,
going to be
for sure.
Damwon on a second wind versus DRX, who just roosted, it seems like, is what ended up happening. KT used Earthquake. It was super effective. As I don't know what is going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting because Damwon looked
They
probably
looked very
the
shaky.
DRX did, but Damwon looked about the strongest they have all season in their last matchup, and then DRX looks about the weakest they have all season in their last matchup. So coming into it, I think expectations are that Damwon have the upper hand, but DRX are not an easy team at all. I think that was a one-time fluke against KT. I think they're going to come back really strong. They're not going to do the same thing again. Maybe they were a bit overconfident with some of the picks they were going for and the way they were playing, and I think they got the lesson handed to them. So we'll see what happens there. But looks like, guys, the music is already starting. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCK. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Changed and I am ready to take it on. You told me to be myself and never feel alone. You're all that I want, you're all that I need. If I was ever